Hey everyone, this is James, and today I want to cover a subject I've been wanting to cover for quite some time, and that's the 22 for self-defense. And no, not a handgun. That's going to be for another day. What I'm talking about is the 22 rifle for self-defense. In particular, I want to test the ballistic power of the 22 rifle. Granted, the 22 rifle is going to be more powerful than a 22 pistol, and I'm going to show that to you. But a 22 rifle is an extremely common firearm. A lot of people have them, even non-gun people have them, and that's got me thinking, what if you had to use one for self-defense? Well, there's some benefits to this, but there's also some disadvantages, and we'll be talking about those in a moment. But our test rifle is going to be this Marlin Papoose with a 16-inch barrel. I have a few magazines for it. We're going to be covering a bunch of different facets of this, but for now, let's go ahead and shoot it a little bit and show you what it can do. There are quite a few aspects as to why you might choose a 22 rifle for self-defense. The first of which is price and availability. The ammunition is available everywhere. In fact, this particular box of Federal Auto Match that we're doing most of our shooting with today costs about $18 for a box of about 300, and that is significantly less expensive than comparable centerfire options like 9mm. And the guns themselves are also inexpensive. You can get a good 22 rifle for under $200. Now, this might mean very little if you're a gun person, but if you're just starting out, or if you're not a gun person, having this sort of option is good. But also, the sheer inexpensive nature of the rifles and ammunition ensures that you can get a lot of practice, and it is very important to be proficient with whatever firearm you end up using for self-defense. So a 22 rifle might be better compared to a centerfire option you don't shoot as much. And that takes me to my next topic, which is usability. Number 2, usability. What do I mean by usability? Well, not only are the guns and ammunition inexpensive, but basically anyone can handle one. If you go ahead and get an ordinary 22 rifle, chances are the rifle itself is going to weigh less than 5 pounds, has a shorter stock, and will be easier for smaller statured shooters to shoot. Not to mention the 22 long rifle, thanks to its relatively low power, has very little recoil and noise, which can be of advantage, especially if you're a new shooter. But it's important to have a gun in the house that anyone in the house can actually handle. If you can handle a more powerful gun, good, go that direction. But getting a powerful gun that you can handle versus something that someone else in the household might need to use doesn't do them any good. So, in any case, a 22 rifle in the hand beats nothing. And let me show you something. With a good magazine system, of course I'm using 7 and 10 round magazines today. I don't have any fancy 25 round magazines. 25 round magazines for your Ruger 1022s and your Marlins are going to be excellent. You'll give you more rounds to work with. But even so, I'm going to show you, this guy can be pretty fast. We have a target at 25 yards at steel plate. Drop the magazine. Drop in a new one. That's not too bad, and that's a good bit further away than you'd be firing in self-defense inside your home. The final aspect of the 22 rifle's viability when it comes to self-defense is actual power. On paper, the 22 long rifle is firing a lightweight bullet at a moderate velocity, and I'm going to be showing that to you today. The 22 is light for self-defense, but is it adequate? Does it actually do the job? Well, as you can see, we're firing my Ruger Single 6 with the Federal Auto Match ammunition to see what kind of speed we're getting out with a handgun. We're going to be comparing that with the Marlin Papoose, and then afterwards we're going to fire some Cci Blazer through the test platforms, just kind of getting between the two platforms. Alright, next is our Marlin Papoose. Load our 5 rounds in. 1117. 1198. 1189. 1183. 1187. Let's try something else. Alright, I searched high and low, could not find any super high velocity ammunition, but I have some Cci Blazer. Let's see what it'll do with our Ruger. 1094, 1074, 1088, error, that happens, 1109, 1100. Let's try our Papoose. $12.26, $12.34, $12.21, $12.20, $12.22. That's a bit of a difference. Let's run these through some ballistics gel. Alright, quick look at our wound tracks. Our 4 entrance holes easily cleared our 4 layers of denim. The wound tracks start to open up around the 4-inch mark. Granted, they're really close together, so we really shouldn't rule that out, but what we want is penetration. Easily passes our 9-inch mark of our 10% orange gel blocks. And there are your bullets. They're starting to tumble at the 11 3/4 to 12-inch mark. Not one of them underpenetrated below that 12-inch mark, which is minimal FBI type standards. Of course, this isn't real scientific testing, but you can draw your own conclusions. You can see that this ammunition is not high velocity, high performance ammunition. This is the standard Cci Blazer. It is what you could buy off the shelf for a fun weekend. It's cheap, and well, as you can see, even this cheap stuff will do a lot of damage. So we've seen some compelling reasons why you might want to select a 22 rifle for self-defense, but now I'm going to show you a reason why you might want to err on the side of caution. 22 rifles are of course great, but with rimfire ammunition you're going to get malfunctions. Here I am running a tactical drill, you could say, and you see I get a click and no bang. Some brands of ammunition are more reliable than others, and some of them function well versus others. 22 caliber guns, they tend to be a little bit pickier, so you want to pick your ammunition wisely before you load the gun up and store it away, because you do not want to find yourself experimenting while you're in trouble. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting that round out, and like I said, 22 rifles and pistols can be somewhat picky, and I also want to point out that 22 rifles get dirty over time, so you want to keep them cleaned and lubed. A good maintenance schedule is good with any gun, but with a 22 it's relatively important. And bear in mind, what you think is clean and what your wife think is clean are 2 totally different cleans. So we can see the 22 rifle actually seems to stack up a little bit better on paper. 22 rifles are, of course, like I've said, very plentiful in the market. You can get a good 22 rifle for less than what you can find for a good shotgun. If you're on a budget, this might be what you want to run with. You might be recoil sensitive, and anything large that would have you rattled and you're not able to use effectively. What I can say is that a 22 rifle is easy to shoot. easy to shoot well, and with the right ammunition, could be pretty reliable. It has its own idiosyncrasies, don't get me wrong, but even with the lack of power, you can see that the 22 long rifle is something you do not want to mess with. So what do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section below, and don't forget to click that notifications bell. YouTube has changed everything, so if you want to see more of my stuff, click that. Like, share, and subscribe, and see you next time.